Hi everyone, Teddy Baldassarre here in Dallas at Bachendorf's with a special guest, Kirby Allison. Kirby, good to see you.
Hey Teddy, pleasure to be with you, and of course I'm a big fan of the channel, and I'm very excited about what we have in store today because I have a little bit of a hint based off your videos what we'll be doing.
I want to introduce you properly. I'm a huge fan of this guy's content. He is, in terms of menswear, just the finer things in life, one of the best content creators out there. I'd recommend checking out his channel. Leave a link in the description. Kirby, what would you just say to somebody that's maybe just investigating you for the first time? What would you say to entice them potentially?
Well, you know, we help the well-dressed explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. And so, you know, a lot of these stores behind these heritage brands are incredible, and this is the world that is fascinating to me, and there's always so much more than what initially meets the eye on the surface. So that's kind of what our channel's about.
Well, we're not too far off that path also here when talking about watches. So what we want to do today is we want to build a watch collection. We're going to build a 4-watch collection. And I want this to be a reflection of your own personal taste because you have a very specific style. So I want you to look at this as we're going about this store to try to find what represents you with your 4 pieces. I will do the same. We'll alternate back and forth, and that will, at the end, allow us to go ahead and take a look at both of our collections, and people at home can decide
they can vote on who has the better collection.
Yes.
It's a lot of pressure here. I'm glad it's not just one. I mean, choosing one watch would be impossible. 4 at least, I have a little bit more flexibility in terms of where we're going.
And really quickly, I know you're kind of more budding as a watch enthusiast and fan, I mean, but you have some cool watches. I do want to call attention to some you have on your wrist.
So this is a Chopard perpetual calendar from the 1990s. It's a 38 millimeter, case, and it has a retrograde date, moon phase, and this is was a gift for my 30th birthday. And this is a beautiful watch, a little bit off the beaten path. It's not super collectible, but it has all those characteristics of quality, craftsmanship, tradition. Just the incredible movement that this has made it a very special watch.
So add some theater.
Yeah,
Who gets to go after the store first? I'll let you call it. Heads or tails?
Okay, heads.
Oh.
Ooh, tails.
Tails?
All right, there we go.
I get to go first?
Yeah, well, that's I think my advantage here.
We'll see. So he's already getting a little too confident.
And we can't choose the same piece though, right? So I guess you get to move first. So I
get to move first, so I get that advantage here. Okay, so just to get a lay of the land here, we have Tag Heuer, we have Chopard, Franck Muller, Grand Seiko, Longines, Breitling, Omega. Quite to get lost in. I think there's also some fun pieces over
Franck
here.
Muller. I mean, this is, there's a lot of choices here. Teddy, where are you going to start?
I adore this brand, Grand Seiko. Now, there's a couple ways I could go about this, but I think I actually want to go with the piece that's isolated. Now, they've isolated this, I don't know if with intention, but this is one of the best points of value, I think, in watchmaking. This is the SBGM 221. GMT watch, under $5,000, integrated GMT movement. Grand Seiko's been around since 1960. This is also what I really enjoy about this piece, and you might enjoy it too as somebody likes classic menswear. When you think of a GMT watch, you think of sport.
Yeah.
This does it with a bit more elegance.
Yeah.
So I think this will be my first choice here.
And I love the idea of a dual time zone. I mean, as someone that travels a lot, right?
Yeah.
You can have that second time zone, which can be the GMT or could be any other time zone.
So that's been my first pick.
Okay, so that's a strong first pick. That's a bold kind of out of the gate move here.
Now you don't need to start. You don't need to go to Grand Seiko. You could go anywhere, wherever your eyes are taking you. That's the important and only rule here, outside of not going beyond 4 watches. You can only pick 4.
Only 4.
Longines.
So many choices, dials and cases.
What's your preference on size? Like, where do you typically align?
I mean, I don't have massive wrists, so I'm normally in kind of the 36, 38.
Okay.
I mean, maybe up to 40. If it's slightly casual. And look at this, we have a reverso.
You do have a reverso.
Similar to what you were wearing yesterday in the video we filmed together. I think that this reverso
calendar,
the calendar would be my first pick. I mean, that's an iconic watch. This is a proper gentleman's watch. I mean, huge history, with polo, which has been a proper gentleman's sport. I mean, what's interesting about this, polo, has a big heritage, of course, in the United Kingdom. I mean, even though this is a Swiss watch, it kind of has some, some echoes to, my spiritual home, if you will, which is the United Kingdom. First preference would probably be yellow gold, but this is an absolutely beautiful watch. And the other thing that I like is that, again, it's got a little bit of complication to it.
Yep, we have a calendar.
Yeah, full calendar, yeah.
It's a beautiful watch.
So that would be my first pick.
Okay, Kirby, so 1 each so far.
Yeah, first round.
First round done. I have to continue with my next pick here. So now Breitling, see, I wouldn't think Breitling is much of your style, but they have some watches and they've been really redefining what their collection stands for in the last several years with George Kern at the helm. I really like what they've done. There's a few things in here I like. I mean, I like the new Navitimers. The Abbeys are pretty cool. I mean, you have some Super Oceans over there, but this is a watch I actually have not spent as much time with, but I think is absolutely beautiful. This is their Datora. It is this nice, beautiful kind of copper tone dial. I mean, I love the B09 pistachio dial. It's one of my favorites they make, but this dial is singing right now.
Yeah, that's a beautiful dial. Oh boy, that's a good choice. It's got, again, the calendar, and that is, you know, what's interesting about that watch is, you know, whenever I think of Breitling, I often think more of
Navitimer,
really,
right? Pilot's watches.
Yeah, Pilot's watches, very sporty, but this still has that, you know, kind of Breitling heritage of those, you know, features and complications, but whatted in a format that looks a little bit more dressy.
Yeah, it's called their Premier Collection.
Yeah.
The weird thing about the Premier Collection, it's as historical as any in terms of their pillars. It's actually before the Navitimer.
Really?
Premier
Okay.
has its roots going back to. So pretty cool watch. I think that's going to be my
What's
next
the
one.
dial size? What's the case
That
size
is a
of that?
42 millimeter,
Okay.
I believe. So it's
Yeah.
a little bit larger, but for some reason I just think that will still work on wrist. I mean, I've worn a lot of the Premiers, and I think they just wear pretty well. A little bit high in the case height, but a stunning dial, no question about it. I love the position of the moon phase as well.
Yeah, that dial's a real showstopper for sure. I mean, I like Breitling. I think it's an incredible brand. That's a really strong pick. But I think I'm going to find myself back over here on these cases.
Go, please.
I mean, since you've done this many times, and this is my first time in the candy shop, you know, why hold back? I'm going to come back here, you know, to this case right here.
Okay.
You know, this Cartier right here,
Ball and Blue.
the Ball and Blue, I think is a pretty interesting watch. I like the rose gold case. I generally, you know, think of Cartier more in terms of my wife, just because she has several, and I think they make some of the most beautiful and elegant women's watches out there.
Agreed.
You know, the tanks, I mean, those are a little bit too kind of brutalist for me.
Yeah, the Santos
You know,
too,
the Santos and everything. But that, and that with that gray dial, I think is pretty elegant. And what also I find interesting about this is that, you know, with the different band, you know, something my wife could wear. So there we go. So,
sharing is
you know,
caring, everybody.
Sharing is caring, right? So, you know, I'm trying to get permission for these, so that's like, I'm going to bring her into the fold. Maybe she'll let that one slide through.
They do also a great job, like even with like their mid-size Santoses, like the ability to size things up quickly, have it kind of be an hour watch rather than just my watch. Like that idea is actually something I think Cartier actually understands and positions well within their watches. And it's one of the rare instances where you have more of a house that's known for jewelry. It's a multi-faceted house in terms of just a luxury brand, but they have not deviated too far away where they've lost the essence of what their watchmaking is all about. With like phenomenal history, looking back to the Santos in the early 20th century. I mean, some argue the first pilot's watch or wristwatch ever. I mean, Cartier has that history at their disposal. It's a wonderful brand.
Well, it's an incredible house. And again, whenever I think of classic, elegant, timeless pieces, I mean, Cartier, I think, consistently just nails that year after year. You know, a lot of the other watch companies can be quite creative in their collections, you know, year to year. But Cartier, you know, they keep in a pretty narrow lane. They're beautiful watches, and I think that, you know, that could work. So.
Okay, Ball and Blue. I like the
Blue.
pick. A little different than what I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's what we have.
I mean, this is a little out there for me, maybe. I mean, but again, I like that gray dial. I love the rose gold. And I think I could pull it off.
Okay, Kirby, so I have a couple complications so far. I think I want to lean into something a bit more sporty. My casual is a bit more casual than yours. So I want to start to head over here to Omega, because we have some different options. So I don't want to be too redundant with a pick on maybe going into a chrono, because I was doing something previously over there that I think leaned into that direction. So now I want to probably go into more of a dive watch. So we're talking Seamaster, or I would like to do maybe kind of an everyday style watch, maybe something like the Aquaterra. So I'm just trying to see here.
So tell me about the Seamasters.
So Omega Seamaster collection is actually, it started as a dress collection in 1948.
Okay.
And then extended into more of a professional DNA that we know it today in 1957 when they released the trilogy models of the Railmaster, Seamaster, and Speedmaster. But now it really is this all-encompassing sports collection outside of the Speedmaster for Omega, where you have models like this, the Aquaterra, which is more of their kind of traditional just three-hand watch. Then you have the dive watches like the Seamaster 300, Diver 300. There's a lot to get lost in this collection. It's outside of the Speedmaster, probably their other pillar. And the other reason why this Seamaster's become such a huge hit is the James Bond affiliation. So with Pierce Brosnan in the 90s, famously wore a Seamaster on his wrist, and that's kind of been the Bond watch for many years.
And what type of movement? I mean, so it's a mechanical automatic?
Mechanical automatic, so they're using their METAS certified movements in these, usually the 8800s and 8900 movements in most of their watches. So METAS certified, fully cased up movement and case when you're testing that out. Variety of different tests. You have 8 different tests to meet those standards. So I would say it's a class-leading movement for the price range in which it represents in that $5,000 to $10,000 range. I might do something here actually with the Aquaterra Small Seconds. This is a newer collection within the Aquaterra family, but I think it's sharp. I'm going to do this one with this gradient horizontal line, blue markers. I think it's beautiful right there.
Interesting.
So that'll be my third choice.
Third choice, okay. All right. So let's look at something, kind of like you maybe that will be a proper weekend watch.
Okay,
something a little bit more casual. I mean, these are beautiful watches, right? I mean, this Breitling with that pistachio dial, I think, is beautiful. Again, it's either stainless or, what is it, a stainless?
A stainless steel?
Yeah, so it's not flashy, it's not gold. So I think I might go for that watch.
You're going for a Premier too?
Yeah, that has a crocodile strap on it, which is dressy. I think something almost like the polo strap that's on that Reverso on a watch like this would make it a slightly more casual kind of weekend watch. And what I like about that is, again, it has a very striking dial color. So if I'm wearing it, with the short sleeve shirt, right, then, that dial is really going to kind of speak for itself.
And it's also a 40 millimeter case, which for Breitling standards, that's towards the
smaller
end. It wears wonderfully on the wrist. I mean, it has some presence, but just enough where you feel that more casual aesthetic, but you could absolutely dress that up if needed, depending on the strap. And I think the strap there with the Reptilian might be leaning a little bit too far in that direction, but I like your idea.
Yeah, I mean, I would change the strap for sure. I've always liked Breitling as a brand, but never felt like I could pull any of the aviation watches off. So this is something I think that, maybe I could actually pull off.
Cool pick. I like it.
So that's number 3.
All right.
Here we go. Final round.
Final round. So far for myself, I have GMT, Deora, and then I also have my Small Seconds. I don't think I've fully leaned into the sport category yet. So I think I want to.
It's hard to believe, but
we're different people, Kirby. We have different styles, we have different tastes. So I want to probably lean into that even further. So I want to go for maybe a dive watch.
A dive watch, okay.
I think I want to go for a dive watch. My last option I might think here, I was looking here too, so I'm kind of either titanium or bronze. I wanted to do a different case. I wanted to do something that was also a different material. I think I might do this. I might do the Legend Diver in bronze with this kind of green dial color. It gives me a little bit of a different dial color, so I get some variety here. Bronze case, which looks like one of the only bronze cases I've seen in the store so far. So that gives me some good variety and can close out my collection. So I think that's going to be my last choice here. So what are you feeling? What are you being drawn towards right now?
I've got the Breitling, which I think is interesting.
That was not a Kirby pick. I like that pick.
I think changing the band, right, you could really make that a beautiful watch. Right, it is a beautiful watch, but a watch that kind of works for my intended purpose. I've got the Cartier Ballon Bleu, which is a little bit, I'd say that's probably of what I chose, maybe the farthest one, slightly kind of outside, what my kind of lane would be. I mean, it's a little bit more, I guess, fashion and kind of jewelry oriented, but it's a beautiful watch. I love that gold, case. I mean, I love yellow gold or rose gold in that case. But I think maybe something slightly more kind of casual for me, which something different than casual Teddy.
All right.
So Grand Seiko over here.
Okay.
Right. We were looking at these, the Elegance collections, right, which Grand Seiko, I mean, brand with great kind of provenance and history. These two 38s, I think, are interesting.
Those are 37s.
37s, okay. But this is calling my name somehow.
Really?
I just, again, that really small, dial and size, right? That blue case, is something that, is a color I love. So this is a mechanical,
yes, manual wound.
Manual wound watch, okay. So maybe we go for that. I mean, I like the I mean, what would you call that dial? I mean, it's got a very interesting kind of almost baby blue, sky blue texture to it.
Grand Seiko has some of the most remarkable dials in all of watchmaking. I mean, you're looking in this case and you just see the breadth that they have in front of you in terms of what they're bringing forth. So, but you think you're going to go here with
Yeah,
this?
I think I'll go with that. I mean, again, nice, small, kind of case size, right? So it's not going to overwhelm the wrist, and I think it's a piece that, you know, I could easily wear on the weekend.
All right. Okay, I like it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get all these watches together, get them on the trays, and then we'll go through our lineup one final time. We'll go through the total of how much we spent, and then we'll leave it up to you to decide who won. Let's do it.
Okay. This is, you know, a lot of pressure. You know.
You'll do it. You're doing great for your first time.
Yeah, well, I want to see them all together next one another.
All right, Kirby. So we have now put all of our watches on the trays, and we've also tallied up the total. We'll begin with the totals first, just to set the stage of his frivolous spending.
Yeah, should we let the audience guess? I mean, you know, in the comments section below, you know, this is the moment where you record your guess in terms of how much you think I spent.
Kirby spent $44,550. I spent $28,225. So I am saving money, but I will say this, as somebody who does this all the time, I think Kirby did a hell of a job here for his first time doing this.
Well, I think that, you know, to end up with these 4 watches from these brands for what is only $44,000 is actually seems like a big win in my opinion. This is a beautiful watch. In rose gold, you know, it would have been $10,000 additional, right? So to have this watch, this iconic design with those complications in stainless steel
and you're getting a duo face.
With the duo face.
He's almost getting 5 watches.
Yeah,
for which,
I mean, this for, you know, $14,500 to me is a steal. Right, like this seems inappropriate. I should take this before, you know, they watch this video and increase prices, because that is a magnificent watch.
So quick rundown. So let's go through it. So Grand Seiko SBGW collection, B09, Ballon Blue from Cartier, JLC tribute calendar. I then shifted over and I did a Grand Seiko SBGM.
Hold on, but what's your? So you spent $28,000.
I spent $28,225. SBGM 221, Datora from Breitling, Omega Small Seconds, Aquaterra. And then a bronze case, Legend Diver from Longines.
Yeah.
Guys, who won? Who won in the comments? I am actually a little nervous. I think Kirby may have shown me up on my own stage. I don't really like this.
I don't know about that.
Maybe I was being slightly generous.
Yeah.
I was leading him in certain ways. I was helping him.
Hey, well, you went first.
Decisions.
You went first, so you could have gone for some of these. This Grand Seiko, I think, is a beautiful piece. You know, if we were to trade, this would be a piece that I wouldn't trade you one of these. But I'd maybe consider trading you one of these 2 for that, because this is, I think, a really elegant watch. And again, this brown crocodile strap, right, is beautiful. And then this Breitling that you chose, I mean, you inspired me here with the pistachio dial. Again, another beautiful watch, slightly larger
you're
than
40
this
versus
one.
42, yeah.
And so I think on my wrist, this is probably the right choice, right? But again, this is another absolutely magnificent watch that, you know, I think is everything that you look to in a watch. You know, the provenance, the brand, you know, those complications that you expect from a Swiss watchmaker, and then just those iconic kind of elements that you would expect from Breitling. I mean, this is pretty elegant.
I think it's one of their better watches that they've made in the last 5 years. I think it's a beautiful watch. Both of those, B09 and also this. Well, all right, guys, leave comments down below. Big thanks to Bach&Doors for letting us come into their store. It's a great place in the Dallas area if you're ever interested in buying some watches. And I'd love to see those comments. And also check out Kirby's channel, because we're going to be shooting some content for his channel, talking some watches as well. And a great channel to get lost in even beyond the time that I'm on it. So, Kirby, pleasure.
Thank you, Teddy. Pleasure. Appreciate you coming.
Great work today.
And this was great fun. We need to do this again.
Happy to do it.
Yeah.
Guys, see you next time.
Cheers.